Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I've got several videos for you tonight. I have one from Judge Middleton. I have one from Judge Rosie Gonzalez. I have one from Judge Bryant, and I have a couple short ones from Judge Simpson. So here you go.
This is Jaden Riley Clark. She's here with her lawyer, Mr. John Bush. She is charged with a domestic assault for a circumstance that involved her grandmother. Earlier this year, January 17th. She was in an argument with her boyfriend, and it turned into this. And the defendant pled to domestic violence. This is also a case where the prosecutor has not objected to a deferral. Mr. Bush, what would you like me to know?
I believe the deferral is the best option, but there are caveats. She's 18. She's never worked. She's lost her ID. Apparently, it's going to be hard to even get employment. She has one child in foster care, and she's currently pregnant right now. So she has a lot of issues financially at this moment.
She does. She talked about this with me at the time of the plea.
She's at Keystone right now, so she's got a lot of growing up to do. It isn't all her fault, but there may be economic issues that are going to stand in the way of her being successful. But I do believe she would be a good candidate for services.
All right. Miss Lee, would you like to come up? Mr. Bush just sort of laid out Jaden's circumstances, which you're very aware of. She's a sparrow in a hurricane. She's 18. She has a child. She's about to have another child. Not much in the way of resources, issues with the child's father. Pretty overwhelming circumstance. She ended up knocking you down. And did you have any medical bills?
I just had some x-rays done on my back because I was having back issues and headaches.
Well, you also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I didn't go at the time that it happened, which I guess I should have. So that's my error.
Are you asking for restitution?
I'll pay it.
Well, she doesn't really have the ability to pay much of anything.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted her out of your house. Sounds like they were very disruptive to your household.
Yes.
Goes under the category of no good deed goes unpunished. You allowed them to move in there because they needed a place to be, but it greatly disrupted your life. So now she's just kind of on her own. Do you object to having contact with her?
Not at my place at this time.
Yeah, but so she can't live in your house, but
No.
you can, all right.
No, they cannot. No. I would like to have contact with her. She is my granddaughter. I love her. But that's, she needs help.
Yes.
And I found out before all this happened, like a week or two before, that she had taken electrical wire and choked my dog and took a needle and put some stuff in it because I have these because my husband was diabetic. So she got one of them, she put some liquid in it and shot on the back of my dog's neck. It's not healing. I can show you a picture if you'd like, but I need to know what she put in her so I can get it taken care of correctly.
All right, Miss Clark, what would you like to say?
I'd like to say that I have no idea what she's talking about the whole dog
All
situation.
right, so you're saying you did not inject anything into the dog?
No, no, Your Honor.
All right, you're not charged with that, but it certainly, if it's true, it's very troubling.
And I've asked her to be charged. I just want to know
Yes.
what it was.
And she's denying it.
course.
You are very sad, and I guess you have cause to be. You got one child in foster care. What's your due date? May?
It's going to be August.
August. You don't get a lot of help. You're a keystone. Are they trying to find a place for you to go?
Yes, yesterday I went up to the Freedom Center and got my ID, and I'm going to be able to find housing very soon.
What's the Freedom Center?
It's a church-run place right across the street, kind of a little bit down the road.
What town?
This here in town.
In Centerville?
It's the Freedom around the corner.
Oh, the store,
The free store.
the free store. Okay. Oh, very good.
Yep.
They helped you get your ID?
Yeah, and they're also going to help me get.
How'd they
this.
help you get your ID?
I kind of just walked in there because they helped me with getting my birth certificate before
Where were you born?
in Sturgis Hospital.
All right, so your birth certificate's right here at the courthouse. So you got your ID from the Secretary of State?
There's a little I forgot what it's called, but it's another little building here in town. They took my picture and did kind of a paper ID, and then I take that to Secretary of State.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, so you got ID to get ID.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have your birth certificate?
Yes.
All right. And then they're gonna help you find a better place to go.
Yeah.
What about your child's father? Is he in the picture?
Yes, he stays there with me at the shelter.
All right. How old is he?
He's 20.
There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be working someplace.
He is working.
Is he? Where's that?
He was working at Wendy's, but that wasn't paying enough. So
That's
he's
right.
working at Midwest Plastics now.
All right. There's some hope. There's a crack of light under the door. I'm gonna do a 12-month probation. It might take all 12 months. I'm gonna order 12 days jail credit 2. Of the 12 days, 10 are deferred. Your fine is 0 because you owe a bunch of other money. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee. I'm gonna waive the attorney fee also, although Mr. Bush has earned it. There's a $480 probation oversight fee, which could be reduced, and you're to pay for the class. This is a deferral. You're gonna go to the women's anger management class, which you could greatly use. It'll help you as a mother also. It's a class I started when I was prosecutor more than 30 years ago. And I've never talked to anybody that didn't think it was worthwhile. No drugs and no alcohol. I don't know if that's an issue. You're not even old enough to drink yet or use marijuana. Of course, you're pregnant also. Would anything be in your system?
Marijuana, yes.
All right, you're the second pregnant person smoking marijuana I've had in here today. No marijuana. We're gonna test. If you're gonna smoke marijuana while you're pregnant, I'll just put you in jail as long as I can and let you get out and have your baby. Do you smoke cigarettes?
Yes.
Yeah. I could order that, but I'm not. I would highly recommend, as your OBGYN is going to tell you, don't smoke when you're pregnant. You seem like a nice young woman, but the emphasis is on young. You're very immature. You had one child, which they put in foster care. You're about to have another child, and you're smoking marijuana while you're pregnant. You got anger issues, and you need a lot of help. And unfortunately, you're getting some. Miss Lee, I'm glad you were here. You can have contact with your grandmother, but you may not live there. All right. You should put this
Does
one
she
down.
want that?
What?
Does she want that?
Well, if she wants it, do you wish to have contact with her?
Yes, I was wondering, would I be able to stop by to see my sisters and father or no?
I guess if you can visit there, but you can't live there.
Okay.
No spending the night.
Yes.
No, okay.
All right.
Good luck. I think. Good luck. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, John.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Mr. Ramirez is with us. And we have Ms. Jessica Solis with us. And we have probation. Okay, let's get on the record, Olga, in case number 717522 in the matter of the state of Texas versus Ms. Jessica Solis. Ms. Solis, you're on live. Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you given your attorney, Mr. Roberto Ramirez, and this court permission to go forward with your proceeding via video conference, also known as the Zoom app?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I get announcements from the attorneys and from probation, please?
Raven Pena for the state of Texas.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Robert Ramirez for Ms. Solis.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez. I want to make sure, Ms. Solis, that you understand why you're here. You were placed on probation on the 3rd of November of 2023. And you requested, you submitted an application to be allowed to be supervised on community supervision in lieu of you serving time for this offense at the Bexar County Jail. On that day, I asked you under oath if you were going to follow my court orders, or you know what, it was another judge, so it wasn't me. But that application is granted with the understanding that you're going to follow court orders and that you're going to comply with your conditions of probation. So you were placed on probation on November 3rd, and then by December 30th, the state is alleging that you've committed another assault, a new number 1, in violation of your conditions of probation. By that time, you had not registered for the BIP course, which you were ordered to do. You were supposed to be registered by December 3rd. In addition to that, you had failed to register for a class that I don't order. So one of the things that I'm going to get rid of today, regardless of the outcome of this hearing, is that stress education program. It doesn't work. So I want it off her conditions of probation. All the data, all the research shows stress education programs are ineffective with this population. I don't know why a visiting judge would order that. So I want those conditions altered and amended to remove that as a condition for her. Yes, Officer Martinez.
Your Honor, if I alter and amend the conditions, it'll cancel out the MTR. I can't do that until after we hear the MTR.
Okay, please make a note that at the MTR that needs to be addressed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. So when I saw that, Ms. Solis, and I read every single report, it's hard to believe that this judge reads everything that comes across her desk, but I do. I leave here at 6 or 7 every night because I do that. I was baffled, dumbfounded, gobsmacked, however you want to call it, to see this allegation raised against you yet once again, and with a different complaining witness. I want you to know some data and research on your population, Ms. Solis. If you don't take care of whatever's triggering you, you will create anywhere between 12 to 15 victims of your aggression in your lifetime. And it's my job to reduce the number of victims you create. And I will use everything at my disposal to do so. Do you understand that, Ms. Solis?
I understand that, ma'am.
And that could include jail time for you if you cannot come into compliance with your conditions of probation. Having said that to you, your attorney filed on your behalf a motion, defendant's motion to set bail. He did that on February 1st, and it was accepted by the clerk on February the 2nd. I'll show it to you so you can see this timestamp, and you can see your attorney working for you, ma'am, right there. There, the timestamp when he did that. And so we're going to hear from Mr. Ramirez first. He's going to make argument to the court, maybe call witnesses, put on evidence, whatever he deems appropriate in his litigation to move the court to grant your motion. Before I can consider any action on your motion, Ms. Solis, the court is going to hear from the state by way of prosecutor Raven Pena, and I'm going to hear from Ms. Martinez, Officer Martinez with adult probation, because this was a remand without bond. Having read the motion to revoke your probation and all the violations cited in that motion. So now we're here and I've got your attention. Mr. Ramirez, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I'd like to say that I've conferred with the state, the ADA, Raven Pena, and she informs me that she is not opposed to the granting of the motion for the $15,000 that we're asking.
Okay.
I'd like to ask the court to take judicial notice of the what you've already taken notice of the timing of the motion, and then also that my client, at the time the motion was filed, was pending this warrant, the active warrant that you submitted shortly after the violation was reported to you. And Ms. Solis decided that it would be best, instead of just being at large and coming in and trying to not even get processed through the jail, just to go ahead and just turn herself in, put herself at the mercy of the court and show, and that's what she's done. She made arrangements at work. So with that being said, Your Honor, I'd like to call Ms. Solis and put on some evidence on this case.
Absolutely. Ms. Solis, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury, should you lie to the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You may put your hand down. Mr. Ramirez, the witness is yours.
Are you Jessica Solis, the defendant in this cause?
Sir.
Are you?
I'm sorry?
Are you Jessica Solis, the defendant?
Yes, sir.
In this case?
Yes,
All right.
I'm Jessica Solis, yes.
Okay, and how are you employed?
I'm assistant manager at the Tower of America.
And what do you do for them?
I work for Photogenic. I basically take photos of, tourists coming in and out of the restaurant and also in the observatory deck. I do run a whole team there. I've been there for a year and 2 months already.
Do they know that that you were going to turn yourself in?
Yes, sir. I already talked to my boss. I made arrangements, and they're basically waiting on standby to see what goes on.
Did they indicate to you that they would still offer you employment if you were to get out in a reasonable amount of time and make bond?
Yes, sir.
How many children do you have?
I have 2.
What are their ages?
My son is 11 and my daughter just turned 6.
Who supports them?
I do, and their father.
And who has custody of them when you're out of jail?
They do. The fathers.
Okay. The fathers. Okay. Do they stay with you?
No, sir. I live in Elmendorf, Texas, and they stay here in San Antonio, like in town.
Okay. What would, if the court were to grant your motion for bond and you make bond, where are you planning to stay?
Back in Elmendorf, Texas.
And who will you be staying with?
I stay with my parents.
Okay. And where are your children going to be?
They will be with me. I'll take them to school. They go to school in Elmendorf, Texas. My son is homeschooled right now. But like I take them to school every morning. I'm present for them. I'm present for my son when he does homeschooling. So they'll be with me.
Okay. Do you understand that if you get out on bond, that you'll be required to immediately comply with all of the conditions of probation that this court had ordered? You understand that?
Yes, sir. I do understand that.
Do you understand that that includes the course that you were supposed to go to, and all of the no contact orders as well? You understand that?
Yes, sir. I do understand that 150%.
Okay. And the number one condition really is to not commit any further violations. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your medical condition?
I have
Medical
epilepsy.
issues.
Oh, I have epilepsy since I was 13 years old. I'm supposed to take medicine, but I recently got dropped from my insurance. Since it's been a year since I've been working at the tower, I'm getting benefits. But the enrollment for benefits is in March. So I'm gonna focus on that just so I could get back on my medication. My epilepsy's been acting up really bad since I've been here, more than usual.
Did you
So
have
that's
any
my
seizures?
focus.
Sorry. So that's going to be your focus, you said.
Yes, of
Have
course.
you had any seizures since you've turned yourself in?
Yes, sir. I had 3 since I've been here. And I think it's because it's just stress. And in my unit, it was really, really hot. And that's one of the things that tick my seizures off.
Okay. So do you understand that the pressures of work, that the pressures of raising children, pressures of going to these classes, complying with your probation, and also taking your medications, are all the triggers that the court was referring to that affect your life and your ability to interact with other people in a peaceful manner? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I do understand.
Are you going to be able to manage that? And you're still going to have 2 court proceedings, this one and the felony. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be able, are you telling the court that you can make your court appearances without committing any further violations?
Yes, sir. I do understand that. I'm just getting too old for this, but I do understand.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Peña, any questions of Ms. Solis?
Yes, just a couple. You said your children live in San Antonio,
No, they live in Elmendorf, Texas with me.
but they're currently residing in San Antonio while you're incarcerated at this moment.
Oh, yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. So you said there was an agreement, Mr. Ramirez. Do you have any other witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. State, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I do want to hear, and I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Ramirez. Officer Martinez, any update or any report to the court on Ms. Solis?
Your Honor, I'm only confused about, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but her attorney said that she took it upon herself to turn herself in, but it looks like she was taken into custody during her scheduled probation appointment for an active warrant that she had out of this case. And 2 days later, the MTR was filed. So I don't know that she took it upon herself to turn herself in. It looks like she just reported to probation and was then made aware that she had an outstanding warrant. Okay. So I don't know that the representation that she took it upon herself to do the right thing is actually correct, because this appointment was scheduled on January 8th when she reported in December, and that's when she was taken into custody. According to the probation officer, she was taken into custody was escorted out of the building by Bexar County sheriffs for a new offense of assault during an office visit. So it was beyond her control that she was taken into custody. The MTR was submitted the same day and filed with the court 2 days later. It looks like she had one office visit before her arrest and hadn't started her stress or her BIP class yet. even though it was past the time allowed for her to start. So we didn't really get a chance to start with anything with her because the case is so new.
Okay. Well, the order, it says 30 days. If I need to adjust that to 60 days, I need to know that from probation. You all require them to do it within 10 days in other courts. So I'm not sure why, someone pulled off the pedal on this particular case for BIP, but the order stands. Mr. Ramirez or Ms. Peña, can one of you elucidate me more on what the agreement is? I've got a number, 15,000. Is that the bond you want me to set? Is that the bond you want me to reinstate? What is it? I'm not clear.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
that is the bond we're asking you to set, and that
Okay.
is by agreement with Ms. Peña.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and honor the agreement with the state and set the bond. Now, she is to enroll as part of this bond in the BIP course within the next week. So she needs to be enrolled by Tuesday, February the 27th, as a condition of her bond. Another condition is she's to enroll in the family violence, domestic violence, parenting classes over at the children's shelter within 30 days. That's in addition to complying with the rest of her conditions of probation that are still in effect. So, Ms. Solis, do you have any questions about what the expectations are?
No, ma'am, I'm going to enroll as soon as I can. As soon
Okay.
as I get out of here. That's the first thing I'm gonna do.
Okay, I'll just say this, that's yet to be seen, and I hope you can keep your word. Mr. Ramirez, Ms. Peña, is there anything else you want me to cover, or is there anything else you want to raise on the record at this time?
I just want to bring up the fact that this MTR, as my understanding, is going to be heard next week on the 26th.
Okay. Mr.
Your Honor.
Ramirez?
Beyond that, Your Honor, that's nothing else.
Okay. Yes, Officer Martinez.
I just want to make sure because I've been noticing recently that not all of the probation officers have the information and people are still getting referred to other agencies. Ms. Solis, please make sure that you are referred to the correct agency, and that is Optimal Counseling. That is the only counseling that is approved by this court at this time. It's Optimal Counseling, and the flyer has been sent out to the department a couple of times, but they can also request it from me, but it has to be Optimal Counseling, okay? That's the only one the judge will accept.
Here's why. Because if people are listening, they're probably, why is she only picking that one? Optimal Counseling is the only agency that has taken the extra step to get trauma certified. The judges were trained over a year ago in Georgetown, Texas, that BIP doesn't work. That BIP doesn't work because it doesn't have a trauma component. Optimal Counseling Services took the extra step to include trauma component in their curriculum, and they're trauma certified. And that's why we direct all our defendants out of 13 to do their BIP course out of Optimal Counseling. As soon as any other agency or outfit can provide us with proof that they do have a trauma component and are trauma certified, I will start to send defendants there too. But since no one has stepped up to that challenge other than Optimal, Optimal gets the lion's share of our referrals. Okay, so you need to register at Optimal. Anything else, Officer Martinez, Ms. Peña, or Mr. Ramirez, or Ms. Solis?
No, Your Honor.
No, ma'am, I basically wrote down everything that I need to know right now.
And I'll be typing it up for you in an order as well. And Mr. Ramirez, you'll get
Thank you
that
so
order
much.
in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor. That being all, maybe we be excused.
Yes, sir. Everyone is excused. That concludes the proceeding, and we're off the record, Olga. I'm going to go type up the Mr. Ramirez submitted order, and I wish everyone would do that just like you do, Mr. Ramirez. You'll have the order in your email in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate it.
Mr. Ramirez, is there any way I could talk to you in private, please? if
Somebody
possible?
put them in a breakout room, please, so that they can confer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, this is case number 184570201, the people of the state of Michigan versus Tiffany Isaac. The defendant is charged with 1 count of assault or assault and battery, 1 count of disorderly disturbance. Today is the date set for a pretrial conference. Appearances, please.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the people.
May it please the court, Abdullah Mugni here on behalf of Tiffany Isaac, who appears today via Zoom. Tiffany, could you please unmute your microphone and say your full name for the record?
My name is Tiffany Isaac.
Today is the day set for a pretrial conference. How are we proceeding?
Today, we're going to move for a dismissal based on the complaining witness's failure to appear.
Ms. Ritter?
Your Honor, with respect to count one, I don't see the complaint witness, Ms. Tamika Barber, in the waiting room. It is a second scheduling of the pretrial conference, and the court did require Ms. Barber to be present. The people don't have an explanation as to why Ms. Barber is not present, so at this time, Your Honor, the people will not be able to proceed as respect to count one.
With respect to count one, today is a day set for pretrial conference. The complaining witness was required to appear. They have failed to appear, and the people have no explanation for the failure. They're unable to proceed. As to count two, how do you wish to proceed, Mr. Mooney?
Your Honor, we're going to ask that this be set for a final pretrial and request all discovery on the matter.
Ms. Ritter, did discovery get sent already on count two or no?
No, Your Honor, it was not ordered.
Court is going to set the remaining count for a final pretrial conference. The 24th, 2024.
Excuse me.
Ma'am, no, don't interrupt me. I see your hand. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, the court is going to set count two for a final pretrial conference, April 24th. Discovery should be submitted to the defense by April the 5th. Ma'am, you need to stop. You need to stop. And it appears that you need to come to court in person. Because we're not going to, you're going to get unconfused, but what you're not going to do is be disruptive to my court proceeding. I see your hand. I will acknowledge you at the appropriate time, but you will not interrupt me. You will not lay back and fall out in court. It's inappropriate.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mooney, I'm going to send your client back to the breakout room. She clearly has questions about why the other count wasn't dismissed, but we're going to always maintain proper Zoom court decorum, or we're going to come in person.
Sure, no problem.
Want me to go with her, Mr. Mooney?
You can continue. I can talk to her. No problem.
Court does call the case of the people versus Pierre Jefferson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Awad on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Pierre Jefferson, is present in court. Standing to my immediate right.
Pierre Jefferson.
Your Honor, we have had an opportunity to.
Your name, sir? Pierre Jefferson. Thank you. Go ahead.
We have had the opportunity, Your Honor, to have the PCC, and we are set to go to exam at the next available date. If I may briefly address bond.
Discovery ready?
Yes, Your Honor. Discovery is complete.
I believe so, Your Honor. There might be some videos outstanding. I will look into that today and get anything turned over as soon as possible.
People have their witnesses available March 5th. Preliminary examination will be set March 5th, 2024, 9 a.m. in person. That will be before Judge Perry.
Thank you.
Bond, briefly.
Yeah, as to bond, Your Honor, Mr. Jefferson is a lifetime resident of the state of Michigan. I do understand these are capital offenses he's charged with. However, the presumption of innocence must weigh in, and the bond that's currently set is tantamount to remand. He has insufficient funds to come anywhere near.
But it's 2 CSC first. He could be remanded without bond.
True statement, Your Honor. However,
I know.
However, we're asking the court to lower the bond.
Response from the people.
Your Honor, I'm going to request that bond remain as it is. The accusations in this case are incredibly serious, that the defendant was engaging in contact with the victim, who was a sex worker, and held a knife to her throat while he assaulted her. In addition, I understand he's on pretrial federal release for weapons offenses and fraud, and has bench warrants outstanding in the 15th District Court, so I believe bond is appropriate.
He was on federal release when
Your Honor,
these allegations came up?
Your Honor, he was on federal release and he's being.
When these allegations arose?
Yes, Your Honor, when these.
Motion for bond reduction denied.
Your Honor, if I may finish, please, briefly, if we may.
Go ahead, so I can just get to what I'm gonna.
Part of his release was that he clear up his warrants. He surrendered himself voluntarily on.
He was on
February
pretrial
14th.
release when these allegations came up. They're capital cases, counsel. I don't know what you want me to do. Quite frankly, I think the bond's set too low. Motion for bond reduction denied. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration, Your Honor.
Don't get smart with me, counsel. That won't work well for you. Because, no, he is. Brian Weston.
Prosecuting Attorney Maureen Barroso on behalf of the people.
We're ready in this matter, Your Honor. Lauren Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing with it on behalf of Mr. Weston. State your name, brother.
Brian Weston.
They don't have it. So, okay. Examination. Your Honor, today is the date and time set for probable cause conference. We are respectfully requesting this matter be set for examination at the first available date.
Discovery is complete.
To the best of our knowledge.
People have their witnesses available the 5th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination will be set March 5th, 2024, 9 a.m. in person before Judge Perry. Bond.
Your Honor, there is an additional concern that we have.
Man. Okay,
I
yeah.
apologize.
No.
I did let Mr. Brown know ahead of time. The defendant has been in contact with the victim through jail calls. At this point, I would be requesting that his phone privileges be revoked. We are entertaining the possibility of adding a witness intimidation case as a result of these calls. Or I should say, it is one specific call, but the content of that call was significantly concerning due to interactions and conversations revolving around.
Mr. Brown.
I know we have no response.
Given that the bond will continue, however, defendant's phone privileges are hereby ordered revoked.
Tell him. Them goddamn.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'll see you next time.